ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Can you guys hear me? So we're going to try to make this interactive. So like that's why we have it on YouTube. If you guys can put something in the comments if you have any questions, or like when I'm asking if you guys can hear me, if you can just respond to that. नील कियो सब आपे मौला, नील कियो सब आप, खेल कियो सब आपे मौला. You're asking the face and the. Oh, okay, they can hear. Oh, it's a bit delayed. Chalo. Okay, they can hear. Okay, and bring the thing. Yeah. No, just a thought. Yeah. So, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So, I know this isn't the ideal setup, and we apologize for that, but we're going to try to make the most out of this. So, we'll just do Mool Mantra, Guru Mantra for a little bit while everyone's trying to click the link, everyone's trying to get set up. And in like 2-3 minutes, we'll probably, Good Prasad will try to begin the Sakhi, okay? So, let's all close our eyes and let's all do Mool Mantra together. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरखो निरभौ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्ति अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी साचो एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरखो निरभौ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्ति अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी साचो एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरखो निरभौ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्ति अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी साचो एक ओंकार सलमूर्ति अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी साचो एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरखो निरभौ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्ति अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी साचो एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरखो गुर प्रसाद जपो आदि साचो जुगादि साचो है भी साचो नानक होसी भी सच वाहिगुरु 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 So वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. So again we apologize, this isn't the best setup, but we have to make do with what we have, the circumstances that we have. So Guru Prasad, we're going to try to tell Sakhi today, and we're going to try to keep the trend going a little bit. So what we're thinking about doing is, I'll just give you guys a brief introduction. We're going to try to give you guys Bani Di Antoka. So one Bani Di Tok, and we're going to give you guys 2 weeks. So today's Tok, or this 2 weeks, the Tok is going to be Nanak Chinta Mate Karho. Chinta tesi hi he. जल महे जात उपायनो तेना पे सार करे. So Guru Prasad, we're going to post a link to the Kali Lag of this talk and the meanings in English and Punjabi, and the talk is from Gribi Pothi. So if you guys need, you guys can get the arts from there as well, and the arts over there in Punjabi. But like we always do, we're going to post the link to the video in English afterwards. So where we kind of explain the arts in English. So it might help. Is it just a few people? I'm not sure if it's our internet or if it might be the Sanghat's internet. Not sure. Uh, and again, we're going to try to make this interactive, just so just if anyone has any questions, comments, or anything, just feel free to post it. I'm looking at the comments right now, so Das is going to be looking at that the whole time and try to answer these questions or try to look for a response while we seems a little bit delayed because last time I got a response about a minute after I started speaking. So again, I apologize for that, but okay. I'm not getting a response, but I'm just gonna continue. Okay, so responses are a lot slower. So again, if you guys wanna put it in the Facebook group as well, sorry, the WhatsApp group. Um, Das has that open as well, so that'll be like a little bit better. I think it'll be more spontaneous, more instead of having to wait for you guys' response on YouTube. It might be a little bit easier. Okay, but Guru Prasad, so we're going to talk about chinta. What is chinta? Chinta it means worries, anxieties. It's when we can't get something out of our head, when we keep thinking about it over and over, and it's kind of when we keep thinking about it over and over, and it keeps running around in our minds, and we keep thinking about that one thing. That's what chinta is. It's when we can't get it out of our head because it's causing some sort of like discomfort to us, some sort of anxiety. It's just something that's not feel like something that we're really worried about. We keep thinking about. So before we begin, I guess I can ask just a question, just a general question. How many of us are kind of worried with what's kind of going around? I think that's why the Savior decided to choose this book specifically for these 2 weeks. Is because we're finding a lot of people are a little bit worried about like the coronavirus. They're having a hard time getting it out of his head. Like, are we going to have food? Are we going to get sick? A lot of different worries, come into our heads. So we're going to hear a story So Guru Sahib Ji tells us not to worry about a thing. They say, Nanak chinta mat karo. Don't worry about a single thing. Chinta tesi hi hai. They say Guru Sahib Ji, Vaheguru Ji, they're the ones, they're the ones that worry about everything. So they're the ones that worry about making sure we have food, about making sure that we're not getting sick. They make sure about everything. They make sure about all that stuff for us. So before we begin, hopefully it's not backwards. Seems like it's backwards. But this is the tuk for today. Nanak chinta mati karho, chinta tes hi hai. Nanak चाल महे जंत उपायनो तेनापे रोजी दे जल महे जंत उपायनो तेनापे रोजी दे tena should be karna here. Okay, so we're gonna continue on with this talk. So we're gonna look at a Sakhi from Bibi Rajni, from Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji time, our fifth Guru Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and it's the Sakhi about Bibi Rajni. And a lot of us might have heard this Sakhi already. A lot of us might not have heard it, but it shows us how we should how we should let go of all our worries. It shows us how we should let go of all of our worries and how we should just stay focused on God, stay focused on what Guru Sahib Ji is blessing us with and what they're giving us, and not get too worked up about anything else. So, again, before we start, so luckily we fixed the mistakes. Nanak chinta mati karho, chinta tesi he jal mahe jant upayano tenape roji de. Okay, so we're going to hear Sakhi about Bibi Rajni Ji. So who was Bibi Rajni Ji? Bibi Rajni Ji was the daughter. She was a princess of a king, and the king's name was Duni Chand. And this king, he didn't have just one daughter, he had seven daughters. Seven. And out of all the daughters, out of his whole family, she was the only one that really believed in God. She was the only one that used to go to Sangat, that used to do Seva. And she used to follow Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's teachings. So what happened? One day, Bibi Rajni she's going somewhere, and she sees a bunch of people that are getting together and they're doing vichar. They're talking about Gurbani. They're talking about what Gurbani means. And you know what they say? They say that we shouldn't be worried about what we're eating or anything like that, because they said that Guru Sahib Ji provides all this for us. And then they talked about a tuk. They said, Purkha, Birkha, Tirtha, Tatta, Mega, Khita. It's a tuk that comes in Asaji Divar. The whole shabd, it talks about how Guru Sahib Ji provides food for everybody. It says they provide food for the people in the water, the people on earth, like the humans, the animals, birds, everything. God is looking after all these people themselves. So they said that we shouldn't worry about getting this food for ourselves. We shouldn't worry about where we're going to get this food from, because God's the one that worries about us. Nanak jant upay ka sambhale sabnah. So what it means is that Guru Sahib Ji created all these people. Guru Sahib Ji created this whole world. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I think my first group might remember where I used to go like this. This is how God created the whole world, where they just kind of went like this, and they created all the animals, all the fishes, the birds, the trees, us. They created everything just like that. And because they created us, they're the ones that are looking after, making sure we have enough to eat, making sure that we have a way to kind of live. So there's actually another tuk that comes in Gurbani. and it's in the art as well that we gave for this talk today. But it's Ji Jan Sab Pacha Karya, humans afterwards. First, he made the food that he was going to give to us. First, he made the places that we were going to live. First, he made all that stuff. First, he made all the wood that we would have to use to build our houses and everything. First, he made all that, and then they made us. Then they made the humans. So, Guru Sahib Ji, from the very beginning, they were focused on making sure that from the very beginning, they were the ones that were making sure that we have what we need. They're the ones that are providing everything that we need. So they can provide it in any way. They can provide it with our mom and dad. So when we're born, we're just little babies. What do we do? We drink milk that our mom gives us, right? We eat whatever our parents give us. We get a little bit older, and then for most of us, we start working, and that becomes the way we get food for ourselves, right? But Guru Sahib Ji, they always make sure that there's some way that we're getting this food for ourselves. Even Guru Sahib Ji says in Gurbani that there's ants or little insects in rocks. So inside these rocks, there's little insects, and they can't go anywhere. They're stuck in the rock. But God has even given food to them. God gives them little like sugary foods inside these rocks where the insects live. And there's a lot of stories that come where good Sikhs have actually seen some of these rocks and they've opened them and they saw the insects inside and they looked and they were like, "What's this sand?" And they licked it, and it wasn't sand; it was like sugar. It was like sakkar, if you guys know what sakkar is. It's like this brownish sugar. So Guru Sahib Ji has created this sugar even inside the rock. So that story that I was talking about comes from the time of I think it was Sant Baba Sundar Singh Ji Pindrawale. I think it was from there. I'll double check that for you guys. I'll post it up. But yeah, so Bibi Rajni, she's going and she hears this shabd, Purkhan, Birkhan, Tirthan, Khatta, Mega, Ketan. She hears the whole shabd and she hears how God is the one that's giving us everything that we need and that we shouldn't worry about anything. God is going to give us exactly how much God wants to give us. And you know what happens? She has full faith in God. So she starts thanking God all the time. Even when she's at home, whenever she's eating, whatever she gets, she thanks God for giving it to her. So she thanks God for the clothing that she has. She thanks God for the house, the mansion, the castle that they live in, because she was a princess, right? And she thanks God for all the food. And what happens? One day, all the sisters, remember she has there's seven sisters and she's the youngest. So six other sisters, they all come together and they're all talking and they're talking about how thankful they are that their dad gives them so much. They're like, we're so lucky we wake up in the mornings and we have servants that help us take a bath. We have servants that change our clothes, and then our dad makes sure that we have food to eat, and he makes sure that we have the best food, all the food that we want. He makes sure that we get that food, right? And they're talking, and each one of their sisters is saying, "Yeah, our dad is so great. Our dad is so nice. We're so lucky that we have our dad. That we're not poor. That we're nothing like that has happened to us, right?" So they're talking and they're talking and they're talking about how much they're thankful that they have their dad, and they kind of notice something. They're like, Bibi Rajni Ji has not said anything. So they say, Bibi Rajni Ji, how come you're not saying that our dad is great, our dad is the best, right? And then you know what Bibi Rajni tells them? Because remember, she has full faith in God. She was like, it's not God that provides, it's not our dad that provides for us, it's God. She tells them, she says, I heard in Gurbani, I heard in Asaj Divar that Guru Sahib is the one that provides food for all the living things. And she was like, just think about it. Just think about like the fishes and everything, like the fish in the water. Our dad's not going around giving them all food to eat. Our dad's not going around the whole city giving everybody food, making sure everyone has food. Who makes sure that we have all this food? It's God. God's created the food for the people in the water. He's created the trees with the fruits on them that people can eat, even if they don't have money, that fruit's available for everybody, right? She was like, is God the one that's providing for us? God is just using our dad to get this food to us. But really, it's God that's giving us everything. It's God that's taking care of us. So the sisters, they don't have that much love for God, right? They don't really believe in God as much as Bibi Rajni. So you know what they do? They go to their dad and they tell their dad that, you know what, Bibi Rajni, your daughter, like Rajni, she's not she's not grateful. She's really mean. Like she's saying that you're not doing anything for us, and it's only God that's giving us everything, right? She was, and the dad heard this, right? And he started getting a little bit angry because the dad was really proud. He had a lot of ego. He thought he was such a great person because he was the king, right? He thought like I'm the best. I ruled over everybody. Everyone has to listen to me. Whatever I say goes. I'm the one that gives food to everybody, right? He thought he was such a good, like a big, great person, right? So the dad calls all. He gets a little bit angry. He calls all of his daughters over, and he asks them all one by one, and he's like, who gives you food? Who are you thankful to, right? And all the sisters say that we're thankful to you, Father. Like you're Dunichan, you're the king. You're the one that's giving us all this stuff. You give us this castle. You give us all the foods. You give us all these servants. Without you, we'd be nothing. And then he slowly goes through all of them, and he goes to Bibi Rajni, and he said, Rajni, like uh, who gives you the food that you're eating, right? Like, who are you thankful for, right? Like, who is providing for you? And you know what Bibi Rajni says? She says, Pitaji, I heard in Gurbani that Guru Sahib Ji, God is the one that's giving us all this food. He's giving us everything that we're eating. He's giving us everything that we have. God's the one that gives it to us. And the dad hears this and he gets so angry. And you know what he does? He says, if God's the one that's giving it to you, then I'm going to marry you to a person that had something called leprosy. Korda rog lakasi. So he had leprosy. It's like a very, very bad disease. We're lucky we don't see so much of it in Canada, but you can like Google pictures afterwards if you guys want to see it. It's really, really bad. Like you're slowly your arms and your legs start falling off as well. Like the disease slowly progresses and you can't move. You basically become handicapped. So you can't move. You're in a wheelchair and your arms and your fingers and everything just starts rotting and it starts falling off and you can't do anything. So this person had leprosy. All his hands and his legs they weren't working. He was hardly able to move anywhere. Everywhere someone had to carry him wherever he had to go. And he was really it was really bad. Like it was not a good he was not healthy. He was not a good person. But his dad was so angry that he said, if you think God provides for you, then I'm going to marry you to him and we'll see how God gives you food then. It was me that was giving you the food. Now we'll see how you get food. So he gets angry and everyone's telling Bibi Rajni, like, your dad's really angry. You should just listen to him. Just say, yeah, you're the one that gives me food and then he'll forgive you. He'll forgive you, and you can, you can live a happy life. You'll live a good life, right? But you know, Bibi Rajni, she had no chinta. She wasn't worried because she had full faith in Guru Sahib. She used to do Simran and she used to do Seva, and the whole time she was like, "No, whatever God wants for me, is for the best. Whatever God wants, I'm gonna be happy with that." So she says, if God wants me to be married to this person, then that's who I'm going to be married to. There's nothing that can change it. There's nothing I can do or anyone else can that there's nothing anyone else can do to kind of change that. She said, whatever God wants, I'm going to be happy with that. So she goes, and her dad's so angry. He marries her to the person with the leprosy with the disease, and he says, "Now get out of my kingdom." He kicks her out of the city, so she has to leave the city, and they have very little food at his house. There was very little food, but every day Bibi Rajni would make the little food that they have, She would give it to her husband, and she would eat whatever little that she had. And the whole time, she would say, Guru Sahib, she would do shukrana to Guru Sahib. She would bow down to Guru Sahib Ji, do Simran of Guru Sahib Ji, and say, thank you for providing everything. And you think she was getting worried? Do you think she was getting sad that, I had so much faith in Gurbani, but look, Guru Sahib Ji made me get married to this person and I hardly have anything to eat. She wasn't saying any of that. She wasn't blaming God. Inside, she had no worries. Nanak chinta mat karo, don't have any worries. Whatever's happening is happening for the best. That's what she was thinking. And the whole time she just kept saying, thank you, Guru Sahib, for everything that you have given me. Thank you to that you're giving me this little food. Thank you that I have a husband. And she was going and she's going and she's living just like this. And then one day, they don't have any food, so she has to go from house to house and she has to ask people for money, ask people for food. But she was still happy the whole time. She wasn't worried at all. She wasn't anxious. She wasn't sad. The whole time she was saying, "Thank you for everything you've given me." And she was going house to house asking for a little bit of food, just a little bit of food that her and her husband needed. She wasn't greedy at all, and they were just sharing the food amongst themselves and they were eating. So just like this, she was passing all her days. Like a few days went by, and she would actually carry her husband on a bucket. Some people say on her head. Some people say she would drag the bucket behind her, and she would carry her husband on a bucket, and she would go house to house like this. And one day, the because he had a really bad disease, right? So the people in the villages that she would go to, they were like, "This is a really bad disease. Just leave your husband outside of the village, and then you come in and you get the food and you make the food and you take it back to your husband because it's actually a really bad disease. And if you accidentally touch someone that has the disease, you can get it yourself as well." So she had to start leaving her husband behind. And you know where she left her husband? She left her at a place called Dokpanjani Beri. Dokpanjani Beri. So at that time, it was just a tree. It was just a berry. A berry is a type of a little tree. So she said like he'll get a little bit of shade here. She put him underneath that tree, and she left. So it was just a berry at that time. Dokpanjani name came afterwards, obviously. We'll see why. We'll see why the name came. But she left her husband there. And you know where this tree was? This tree was in Amritsar, where her Mandir Sahib is now. You can still see this tree today. The tree is still there today where all this happened. And at that time, Amritsar, the Harmandir Sahib wasn't made. There wasn't a sarovar there. There wasn't, the pool where everyone goes to bathe. Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, the pool where everyone goes to bathe, that wasn't made yet. It was just a tree there, and there was a little bit, like a little pond of water, but it wasn't a full, like her husband there in his little bucket, and she goes house to house to ask for food. And the whole time she's thanking God and she's doing Simran. And you know what happens? This person, her husband, he's sitting there and he sees something happen. He sees a miracle. He sees that there's a crow, so one of those black birds that goes into this little pond of water that he was beside. That crow goes into this pond of water and it drinks a little bit of the water. And you know what happens? It turns white. It turns into like a swan. It transforms. And he sees this and he's so shocked and he's like, whoa. And he's like, this is a miracle, right? And he was like, you know what? Uh, he was like, this is a gift from God. This pool must be a gift from God. It has powers. And he's like, because my wife had so much faith in God, God has blessed me by seeing this pool. So you know what he does? Remember, he can't walk or anything, right? Because he has this horrible disease, it's eating at his arms, it's eating at his legs. So what does he do? Kind of rolls out of the bucket that he was into, and he rolls his way through to the pool, and then he grabs a hold of a little branch that was there. So remember, he was sitting underneath the tree. He grabs a little branch of the tree, and he goes and he takes a bath in the pool. And as he's taking a bath in the pool, he's taking a bath in the pool. You know what happens? he feels better. He feels that the disease that was eating had his arms and his legs and his hand, it starts to go away. The disease starts to go away, and he starts feeling healthy and he starts feeling good. And now he doesn't even need to hold the branch. He lets go of the branch and he walks right out of the pool. And the bucket that he was sitting inside, he flips the bucket over and he sits on top of the bucket. He uses it as like the chair now, and he's waiting there for his wife to come back. And his wife comes back. What did you do with him, right? She was like, "You, where did you put my husband?" She's asking the person, right? She doesn't know that this is actually his husband and that he actually got better by taking a bath in the amrit in the pool, right? So again, this pool is located where Harmandir Sahib is, where Golden Temple is today. So you know all the powers that we say are in Harmandir Sahib and Golden Temple, these were all there before as well. So because he had taken Ishnan in Amritsar, that's why he got better. And because she had full faith in Guru Sahib, right? That's why he got better. And he started telling her, he was like, my dear wife, like Bibi Rajni Ji, like God has rewarded you for your faith in Guru Sahib. God has rewarded you for always having faith and for always doing Simran and for always doing Seva. And He rewarded you by giving you a healthy husband now. He was like, I saw that in this river there was a bird, there was a crow, a black bird that came and it drank the water. And the bird turned into a swan. And he's like, I saw that and I knew right away that this was a sign from God, that God said that there's power in this pool. And I had full faith that God was rewarding you for all the seva that you were doing and all the simran that you were doing, and how you weren't worried about anything and you were thanking God. And I had faith that God was rewarding you by giving me this, showing me this pool. And so I went in and I took a bath and now I'm all better. But you know, Bibi Rajni, she was like, I think you're lying. She's like, I think you stole my husband and you're just trying to take me to your house, or you're trying to kidnap me or do something like that, right? She's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And they started having a little bit of an argument, right? He was like, no, I'm really your husband. And she was like, no, you're a liar. You're a liar. How did my husband get better? He was in this. He was in this bucket. You stole my husband. You put him somewhere, right? She was like, where did you put my husband? And they're arguing and they're arguing, and a lot of people come to see like what's this argument about, like what are they fighting about, right? And these people that came, they were six, and you know what they said there's no need to argue. Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji is just a little bit away. He was at Santokh Sar at the time. It's another gurdwara in Amritsar, but they said he's just a few minutes away, and Guru Sahib Ji knows everything. He said, we'll just ask Guru Sahib Ji what happened and who's right and who's wrong and who's lying. And Guru Sahib Ji will help us solve this. And there's no need to argue. So they said, okay, they both had faith in Guru Sahib now, right? So they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go to Guru Sahib Ji. So they go to Guru Sahib Ji, and Guru Sahib Ji knows everything, right? Guru Sahib Ji knows everything that happened. They already knew that this roper was there, and they already knew what had happened to the person, right? There's a there's a tuk that comes in Gurbani, Amrit Sare Satgur Satvadi Jitin Anata Kuwa Hanso Hai. Like the Amritsar Sarovar, the pool at Amritsar. This is Guru Ram Das Sahib Ji's Bani, right? So this is from the Guru Sahib before Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. This is a fourth Guru, right? They wrote even before the Sarovar was made that there's going to be a pool here. And even when crows take a bath in it, when blackbirds take a bath in it, they're going to become hunts. They're going to become like swans, kind of thing. They become white. They're going to become pure. So Guru Sahib Ji already knew all this from before, but they say it just to show everybody, right? They want to show everybody the power that was going to be at Amritsar and the power of having faith in Guru Sahib, right? They wanted to show everybody that if you didn't worry and if you had your full faith in Guru Sahib Ji, how Guru Sahib Ji blesses you. So they went. They said, show me where you took a bath." They said to that person, right? And they all walked back and they walked to where Dokpajni Bedi, remember where that tree was? And he said, this pool, I saw this pool and I saw a bird go in it. And I took a bath in here, and that's why I'm feeling better. And then Guru Sahib Ji says, you took a bath and you were holding onto a branch of the tree, right? He said, yeah. And they look at his hand, and his hand still has the disease. His hand still has the disease on it. And he said, okay, so why don't you put your hand in the water now, and everyone will see. So he puts his hand into the water and he pulls it out, and what happens? His hand is totally better. His hand is just like the rest of his body. And everyone sees this and they're like, wow, this, first of all, this pool, this sarovar that's going to be here, it has so much power. And then they're like, Guru Sahib Ji has done so much kirpa on Bibi Rajni. Guru Sahib Ji was so happy that Bibi Rajni had full faith in God. The Bibi Rajni said, Guru Sahib Ji, whatever you're giving me is for the best. That they rewarded Bibi Rajni by letting her find this pool. Right? Does that make sense? Like God rewarded Bibi Rajni's faith, Bibi Rajni's seva, Bibi Rajni's simran by giving her husband this pool. So before this pool, no one knew where it was. Guru Sahib Ji knew, but no one else knew where it was, right? No one else knew where Harmandir Sahib would be. But because Bibi Rajni had full faith, she got to be the one through which this was all discovered. So, and you know what happens after this? Uh, so Bibi Rajni's husband now, he's totally better. He's able to work, he's able to get a job, he's able to do seva and simran, and they stay with Guru Sahib Ji and they do seva and simran with Guru Sahib Ji. And a little while later, someone tells her dad, remember the king, Duni Chand? Someone tells him that your daughter is totally better. Your daughter's husband is totally better, and they're he's doing seva and simran, and they have enough food to eat, and they don't have to ask for anything, and they're living with Guru Sahib Ji, and everything is great for them. And he gets shocked, and then Guru Sahib Ji calls the king over as well. Guru Sahib Ji calls that king over to meet them, and you know what the king Guru Sahib Ji tells the king? He says. Like you did a really bad thing. Like you thought you were the one that was giving everything, right? You thought you were such a great person. Like you were the one that was providing for everything, and you didn't really have faith in Guru Sahib Ji, right? You didn't have faith in seva and simran. You thought whatever I do, I like you married your daughter off to someone that had a horrible disease, right? Like you're not doing good things. Paap kamabdyan tera koi na beli ram. This is the um, an kai ratariya baat dohe ram paap kamavadariya tera koi na beli ram. So this is the Gurbani that Guru Sahib Ji actually said to this king. They said like you're doing a lot of paps, right? You're a king, but you're not a good king. Like you think you're so great and you're being mean to other people, right? And you're bringing your own daughter up to someone that has a disease. Like no, you shouldn't do that, right? They said you're doing a lot of props, you're doing a lot of things by doing this kind of stuff, right? So actually, what happened is Guru Sahib Ji said the whole Bani Di took, the whole Shabd to him, and at the end of it, actually, like while they were saying it, what happened was the king. Remember, he only had 7 daughters. He had no sons, right? So usually it's the son that becomes, it's the prince that becomes king afterwards, right? So you know what this king Duni Chand, he didn't have any sons. So Guru Sahib Ji says you should just give your kingdom to Bibi Rajni. So because Bibi Rajni had so much faith in Guru Sahib Ji, she actually became a queen. She became a queen, and her husband became a king. So it just goes to show you that whatever Guru Sahib Ji has planned, if Guru Sahib Ji had planned for Bibi Rajni that she would stay like stay in a castle, that she would become a queen, she would marry a king. That's exactly what happened. She had full faith that whatever Guru Sahib Ji does is for the best. And because she had this faith, none of the other daughters, remember she was the youngest, none of the other daughters, they should have became the queen and their husband should have became the kings, but none of that happened. It actually went to the youngest person, which which is pretty, which is like a miracle, right? And the only reason that it happened is because Bibi Rajni had full faith in Guru Sahib Ji, And she said, Guru Sahib Ji, whatever you're giving us is for the best. Whatever you're doing is for the best. And she had no worries in her mind. And she, the whole time she was doing seva and simran. And Guru Sahib Ji, because of that, they blessed her. They blessed her with everything. Okay, so that was the story for today on how we shouldn't have any chinta. Nanak, chinta mati karho, chinta tes hi he. Jal mahe jant upayano tena pe roji de. So again, I'm not sure if it's coming out backwards for you guys. It might just be because it's my webcam over here, like it's showing backwards. And yeah, we're going to post the meanings of these tokan, the akali akali lag in English and Punjabi. And again, remember, we want you to write these toks on a board in your house. And while you're eating, while you're doing anything, we want you to, first of all, especially when you're eating, you should be thanking God the whole time. You should be sitting in front of this board and try to memorize each and every letter, each and every lagamatar. And we already went through this a bunch of times, but so we're going to give you guys 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, we want you guys to kind of give a test of these books and their meanings, and yeah, and try to memorize them and try to implement them into our lives. So again, the reason we chose these tokan, the Sevadash chose these books today, is because we thought that a lot of people might have a lot of worries and everything because of like the virus that's going around. They're like stores are running out of food, stores are running out of toilet paper. Like, will we have enough to eat? Will we have enough to like take care of ourselves? Will we get sick? Like, what's gonna happen? But everything is in Guru Sahib Ji's control. Everything to do, everything to do for us is for our own benefits. If we have full faith in Guru Sahib Ji, if even all this that happens, we don't lose our faith. We can't even talk to our friends, and we have to do like talk to each other just on the phone. Like, why are you doing this to us? Like, why is this happening to us? But we shouldn't say anything like that. We should just be thankful for everything God has given us. That we still have a house, that we still have food to eat. That we're so lucky that we live in Canada. We still have food to eat. There's a lot of people in India now that like India's at like a lockdown. There's a there's a lot of poor people in India that they used to just have enough. They used to work in the day and just have enough to eat at nighttime, and now they're not able to work during the day because India's kind of they're locking it down and they don't have any food, right? So we're still lucky that we have food. So we should always be grateful for what we have. We shouldn't be worried. Guru Sahib is going to take care of everyone, even those poor people in India right now. The langars from different gurdwaras, Guru Sahib Ji Sikhs, right? They're doing huge langars and they're giving food to everybody that needs it. So Guru Sahib Ji is still providing for everyone. So whatever Guru Sahib Ji wants for us, that's what's going to happen. And we should always be grateful. We shouldn't worry. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We can't change it. Just like Bibi Rajni was going to become the queen, no one could change it. Her age, the fact that she was the smallest, that couldn't change it. The fact that she was married off to someone that had a disease, that couldn't change it. Nothing changes it. We should, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. We should have full faith in Guru Sahib Ji. We should always be happy with what Guru Sahib Ji has given us. If there's any questions or any comments or anything that anyone wants to say, please, like I know it's a little bit behind on YouTube, so you might not get this message until like a couple of minutes, I think. But if you have any comments, you can post it in the WhatsApp group or the YouTube comments, and we're just um that's try my best to answer them as best as I can. But if you have any questions, if something didn't make sense, feel free to ask. And until then, I guess we can do job of these talks. We'll do akali lag of these talks, and we'll read it, and we'll do a little bit of job on it, and we'll do a little bit of job on it, and then we'll go from there. I think that might be the end of this Sakhi today. But yeah. So Nanak Chenta Mate Karho. So I guess Das and Dasi will speak first, and then the Sangat can speak after. And obviously, I can't hear the Sangat, but You guys can just participate at home, and I'll give you guys ample time to kind of do it. Nanak चिंता माते करो, चिंता तेसी ही है ए, जल महे जानत उपाय आनो, तेना पे रोजी दे ए। नानक चिंता माते करो, चिंता तेसी ही है ए, जल महे जानत उपाय आनो, तेना पे रोजी दे ए। नन्हे कन्ना ना, नन्ना मुक्ता न, कक्का मुक्ता क, नानक ਚੱਚੇ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਟਿੱਪੀ ਚਿੰਨ, ਤੱਤੇ ਕੰਨਾ ਤਾ, ਚਿੰਤਾ, ਮਮਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਮ, ਤੱਤੀ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਤੇ, ਮਾਤੇ, ਕੱਕਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਕ, ਰਾਰਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਰ, ਹਾਹੇ ਓਂਕੜ ਹੋ, ਕਰ ਹੋ। ਚੱਚੇ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਟਿੱਪੀ ਚਿੰਨ, ਤੱਤੇ ਕੰਨਾ ਤਾ, ਚਿੰਤਾ, ਤੱਤੀ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਤੇ, ਸੱਸਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਸ, ਤੇਸ, ਹਾਹੇ ਬਿਹਾਰੀ ਹੀ, ਹਾਹੇ ਲਾ ਹੇ, ਈਰੀ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਏ, ਹੇ ਏ। ਨਾਨਕ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਮਾਤੇ ਕਰੋ, ਚਿੰਤਾ ਤਿਸ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਏ। ਜੱਜਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਜ, ਲੱਲਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਲ, ਜਲ, ਮਮਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਮ, ਹਾਹੇ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਹੈ, ਮਹੇ। ਜੱਜੇ ਟਿੱਪੀ ਜੰਗ, ਤੱਤਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਤ, ਜਾਂਤ, ਊੜੇ ਓਂਕੜ ਓ, ਪੱਪੇ ਕੰਨਾ ਪਾ, ਈਰੀ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਏ, ਐੜਾ ਮੁਕਤਾ ਅ, ਨੰਨੇ ਓਂਕੜ ਨੋ, ਉਪਾਇਆਨੋ, ਤੱਤੇ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਤੇ, ਨੰਨੇ ਕੰਨਾ ਨਾ, ਤੇ ਨਾ, ਭੱਬੇ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਭੇ। ਰਾਰੇ ਹੋੜਾ ਰੋ, ਜੱਜੇ ਬਿਹਾਰੀ ਜੀ, ਰੋ ਜੀ, ਦੱਦੇ ਲਾਂ ਦੇ, ਈਰੀ ਸਿਹਾਰੀ ਏ, ਦੇ ਏ। ਜਲ ਮਹੇ ਜਾਂਤ ਉਪਾਇਆਨੋ, तेना पे रोजी दे ए। ओके, नानक चिंता माते करो, चिंता तैसी ही है ए। जल महे जानत उपायानो, तेना पे रोजी दे ए। Okay, so there's a couple questions. I'm just going to kind of read through them and then we'll go from there. So the first question was Bibi Rajni Sheikh? So I believe they were actually from a Muslim family. I believe it was a Muslim family. I'm not sure. It could have been a Hindu family. But when she heard the sadhus, the ones that were talking about the Asadi Bardi talk, right? They were six. So the peoples whose sangat that she got, when she learned that Guru Sahib is the one that provides for everyone. Keta, what was it? Saran, Deepa Loa Mandala Khanda Varpanda Andaj Jeraj Utpuja Khani Set Ja Semitnan. So, sorry, I forgot the beginning of the Shabdi talk. I'm not sure why. I said it in the beginning of the video, but basically that video, that Shabd is the one that she heard from the Sikh Sangat. And from there, the Sikh Sangat is the one that told her about Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji and how Guru Sahib Ji, God is providing everything. And so from there, she had full faith in God. And when she met Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, she became a Sikh. So they did become Sikh afterwards. I'm not sure if there's any other questions. Uh, if there's no other questions, I think uh, I think this might be a good time to end the Sakhi. It's been going on for a little bit longer than usual. And again, we apologize for the delay, and we apologize that we can't do our normal classes at Gurdwara Sahib. But I mean, this is the perfect time for us to advance our own jivan, to become closer to God. So right now, I know schools were canceled unexpectedly. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have any homework or anything like that. We should be doing as much part that we can right now. We should be trying to learn as much Gurbani as we can right now. At the very, very, very least, we should all be doing Japji Sahib every day now. No excuses. Probably have no homework, we have nothing else to do. At the very least, we should be doing Japji Sahib every day when we get up. And we should be doing as much Gurbani part as we can, because this Gurbani is going to be the only thing that helps us. It's going to be the only thing that helps us overcome this disease, overcome our worries, and get closer to God, get closer to Vaheguruji, right? That's our ultimate purpose, is to get closer to Vaheguru. Now is the perfect time. We probably don't have any schoolwork. We're stuck at home. We're not really going outside. Everything is closed. It's the perfect time that we should take full advantage of this. Remember when we said everything kind of happens for a reason? Who knows? This might be the reason, is to make us get closer to God. Like now is the perfect time. None of us are going anywhere. We can't really go outside with our friends. We're kind of stuck at home. It's the perfect time to learn as much about Sikhi, to do as much Japji Sahib, to do as much Panch Bani the part at the very least, Tahra Sahib and Kirtan Sohla at the very least as well, and to learn as much Gurbani, to memorize as much Gurbani right now, right? So, uh, So there was another question, if we could speak about meaty PD and its supporting next time. So again, I'm not sure if you guys might have tuned in a little bit late. We're going to try to keep these the talks that we get going for 2 weeks. So this Nanak Chinta Mati Karo Chinta Tes Hi Hai. So we're going to keep this talk for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, we're going to kind of think of stories that kind of have to do with chinta and how we can get rid of our worries and things like that. Meaty PD, I think we'll talk about a little bit later. But if we can, if the whole Sangat wants that, we can try to do meaty as well. But we were just going to try to think of two sakis that really relate with chinta, and we'll go from there. Uh, so yeah, like I was saying, this is the perfect time. Everyone should be spending as much time reading Gurbani and doing part and doing seva. And because we don't have anything else to really do at home, this is again the perfect time. And because we're all a little bit free, we had a little request for you guys. If you guys want to send us uh, if you guys have different want to record your own sakis and you want to send them in the group, or you want us to post them, that is totally fine. If you want to start, Vasakis coming up in the next little while. So if you guys want to start learning about Vasaki and you want to share little stories, snippets of you guys telling what happens during Vasaki, if you guys want to do that kind of stuff, we can share it with the Sangat if you want. If you just want to show it to us and you don't want us to share, we can, that's fine as well. We'll be happy to check it for you guys, or just learn from you guys. That would be great. I mean, if everyone does research on Misaki, we'll all learn so much from each other, right? But if you guys want to send us videos of the lessons that you're learning, if you want to send us videos of like your tabla lesson, your new tabla lesson that you're doing, or your new vaja lesson, or new shab that you learn now, and you want to send it to the group, that's please feel free to send us those videos, send us all this stuff, and we'll be happy to look at it for you. If you want to send us the test that you write at the end of the 2 weeks for Nanak Chinta Mat Karo, or you want to send us videos of you guys doing job as a family, or doing job by yourself, or doing namaskar to Gurbani, that's totally fine as well. Uh, so, Haji, I think if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to post them. Otherwise, I think that's what probably we'll end off by doing Guru Mantar a couple some time. ठीक है जी. वाहिगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Please forgive Das and Dasi for all the mistakes. Please keep blessing us that we can keep doing this seva. And the Gurmukhi classes, as soon as we can restart them, we're looking forward to restarting them and getting your darshan again. Ji. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh.